Hello and welcome to this week's MTD podcast. My name is Colin Griffiths. I am the Operations Director. Now I'm going to clarify something in a minute in terms of what the Operations Director is, but we are joined today by the Jeff Gartland, MD of PSL Datatrack.
Thank you, Colin.
And that's the first, isn't it, Jeff, that I've actually got your name right, because every time I introduce you, I'll cock it up, basically.
That's why I said thank you, Colin.
And we are joined, I think Adam. Adam, you are the Operations Director, I understand, and where are you from?
I'm from Technoset in Rugby.
In Rugby, there you go. Now, I'm going to clarify, because I said I was an Operations Director. What does your job involve?
Generally, the day-to-day operations of the factory, making sure everybody's okay, production's running well, plans, communicating with customers, getting out and selling what we do.
In a nutshell, herding cats. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Is that a fair judgment? Because that's what I do all day.
That's about it, yeah.
That's about it. But making sure it's all running very smoothly. I will then do our next introduction. We are joined by Mr. Tom Skubala, who joined MTD
12 months ago.
There you go. Happy anniversary.
Thank you very much.
And what do you do, Tom? Because no one knows.
Oh, God, too much. No, I am a technical reporter.
A technical reporter. And time-served engineer. How long have you been engineering?
I was a machinist for over 10 years.
Right. So you know your stuff. So I'm not going to throw Tom under the bus, but we're going to throw some questions at him in terms of, because engineers, you're a funny bunch. Can I say that without offending the whole audience? But you'll have three names for one thing. So I know I'm trying to think of something.
Depends where in the country you're from.
Exactly. So I have dinner in the evening. What do you have?
I have tea.
There you go. So, but that's not an engineering thing. Anyway, back to Adam. More importantly, now we are here to find out all about Adam herding cats and how PSL Datatrack has. Well, when did you first get it, Adam?
Well, Technoset's been a long time user. I think it was late 1990s when they took it on, so well before my time with them. But I think one of the earliest customers with Datatrack, if I'm right, Jeff.
Yeah, you were customer number 8.
Oh, look at that. Customer number 8.
Somebody's done his research this
I
morning.
remember that because I remember back in those days, I remember Fred was obviously very heavily involved with Technoset in those days. And I remember being asked the question, well, why should we come with you? You've only got 7 customers. Well, if you come with us, you'll be number 8. And obviously, we've surpassed that number many times since.
So that's the only reason he bought it, because they wanted to be customer number 8.
I think number 8 was significant.
And I'm going to have to take a step back here. People might have noticed the audio is slightly different for Adam because minor technical issue. He had to stay work from home today, but with the masters of technology that we are, I say we. I'm going to say Joff because he's in the background sorting it all out. We've managed to plug you in, Bluetooth you in, phone you in, whatever the technical term is. So that's why it might be a little bit different. So anyway, moving on swiftly. Adam, 1999, PSL Datatrack, customer number 8. I'm going to take a quick tangent, actually. Jeff, how many modules you got?
27.
There you go. Just want to clarify, because there's always a bit of contention about that. And what's the latest one?
The contract review.
Contract review. We'll come to that later, no doubt. But Adam, so you joined the company. Well, tell us, you joined the company a little while ago, and what have you done with PSL Datatrack, and why?
Yeah, so I joined the company in 2019, 12 months before that awful pandemic. But and then when I joined, there was a bit of internal debate going on around whether Datatrack was the right thing for us, and whether it was giving us everything that we needed to sort of it to do. I actually hadn't used Datatrack before, so it was fresh to me. Sort of got in there, found my way around a little bit, learnt from a few people within Technoset about the modules that they were using, and kind of quickly became apparent that we just weren't using it right. People were sort of one person using it in one way, one using it in another, and actually we were never going to get the best out of it while it was going on that way.
Okay, well, I'm going to throw this at, Jeff and yourself. You've never used it before. How easy was it to take on board, and how did Jeff and the team help you?
Yeah, well, I found it pretty logical if you follow it through. The beauty of having the modules, you can build it to suit your business. You can pick whichever module you need, but it can take you all the way through from building a quote, placing an order, ordering your material, all the way right through to the end, to making deliveries and invoicing. And that was the nice bit about it, was it was actually quite easy to pick up when you look at it in that logical approach there. And then one of the very best things that we did was I just said to Jeff, can me and the team come down for a morning? I think it actually ended up being a full day, but come down for a morning and just pick your brains, ask you a load of questions about the problems that we have. And Jeff took us through, from the very start of setting a company up, an account up, and how that linked everything through. And that was it. From that moment then, everybody sort of had this sort of light bulb moment of, actually, yeah, if we do it this way, it will do exactly what we need it to do. So that was an absolute key moment for us.
Sorry. Now, you were saying when you first joined that everyone was using it, but everyone was using it slightly different. So how hard was it to get everybody on track using it the same way? So it just was a positive thing for Technoset?
Guys, really sorry. The reason I'm at home. Hello. Hold on. Vinny. I'm doing a podcast.
Oh, it's like a BBC. Is it a BBC? TV,
this is a BBC.
Right, get out the room. What are you doing? Anyway, moving on to while Adam's dealing with that. How did you embrace Technoset, Jeff?
Well, in terms of obviously the recent transition, think of the system as being a bit like having a 5-axis machine, but making use of it as though it's a 3-axis machine. You've got all that investment, all that capability, but you're not getting the best from it. And it's the same with software. When you take it on, you should be well trained. You should understand the tool. You should make good use of it rather than just have a dabble. Now, having a dabble may not be the fairest term to use, but that's the approach that sometimes we find some people apply to software. So get good training in place, get good procedures in place. Adam said about people using it differently. Getting consistent procedures that are refined, that get the best out of what the company needs, is the key to any system. And certainly with Datatrack, that's really how things have improved over the last few years, I would say, certainly at Technoset.
So, Jeff, do you find it hard sometimes with software, though? Because like you were saying, it's like having a 5-axis machine, but only using it for 3-axis work. Now, obviously, everybody can see that. Software's slightly in the background. So do you ever get kickback from people because it's just software?
I think there's often an assumption that it's only software. I think that's very often the case. If you think about a lot of subcontractors, they'll see the reason to invest in a new machine. They'll see the improvement in cycle time. They'll see the improvement in technical features of the machine. They don't necessarily see the same. Sorry, some do, but not everyone sees the same benefit you get from well-targeted software. There are so many systems out there that will do a job. Some, if you like, will represent software well. Some maybe not so well. With Datatrack, we target subcon precision engineers, so the tools we've got in the product are there tailored for what they need. And sometimes it's a case of getting the connection between the tailoring we've got and the implementation that the customer needs.
And I know we've spoke about it before where it's, and I'm guessing you also get kickback from people because we've done it this way for years, which is the worst phrase going in manufacturing, but you hear it all the time. So we've done it this way for years and it's fine. Yeah, it might be fine, but it's not good enough.
Yeah, it
in this day and age.
In 1989 or something, but not now. Absolutely.
Yes, exactly. You should, and I think it's fair to say, and I'm sure Adam will comment about the fact that you should look at everything you're doing, but question it from a point of view of making improvement, not just change for the sake of it. If there's no benefit to the change, why are you making it? So push, probe, and make sure the changes you make give a really positive impact.
Okay, so Adam, are you back in the room? Have you juggled your kids?
Yeah, back in the room.
Oh, good.
Sorry about that.
No, that's all right. These things happen. So, anyway, not moving on swiftly, but in a nutshell, 1989, customer number 8 weren't using the system to its full effect. You've got some training with Jeff. I'm thinking moving forward, there's a couple of key points here. A, it ties in with now you've got aerospace accreditation, digitization, and also you've got some great, you've got the great barcode scanning systems. So talk us through those 3 points. So aerospace, digitization, barcode scanning, please.
So early 2010s, I think it was, Technoset, was very much embedded into the aerospace world, supplying turn parts, AS9100 accreditation. And I think when you look at what Datatrack does for us, it really encompasses everything around that, traceability of material and gauging and where parts were produced and all of that. But we then sort of moved on, obviously still being AS9100, but wanting to take it to the next level of the information that it gave us. And it really is everything is in there. It's just how do you get to it? How do you use it better to make you better? Like Jeff was just saying about sort of continuously improving. And we wanted to, at the time, then sort of get more information live from the shop floor. We were about 24 hours behind with our information coming from production because it was being input by an administrator. So this was a sort of case of getting the guys who had produced the parts to then start interacting with Datatrack, put the information in, making it a bit foolproof so it can't go in wrong. So we rolled out shop floor data collection module, and for us it was quite nice because our sister company down in Hastings, Technoset, they'd already used it. They'd already got this in place, and they were using it far better than we were. So I went down, had a look, sort of looked at how they did it, and took the best of what they were doing, and sort of thought, okay, well, that's got to have a benefit for us. Came back up and rolled it out, but then we linked that then with the digitalisation project, completed around this time last year. It's around status boards, so customised sort of visual display for the guys on the shop floor as to what's coming up in the next 10 days, because some of our production runs might only be 3, 4, 5 days long. So what's coming up in the next 10 days so they can get prepared, pre-kitted, get their gauges allocated, material allocated. And then all of that then all feeds back into a master sort of production status board that shows us what's happening on the shop floor every day.
And I'm assuming everything's green, is it?
Well, we've been working really hard over the last 6 months to get all the red off it. But it's typically in our world, where our sort of lead times are sort of 6 to 8 weeks, we are on fine margins. So whenever anything goes slightly off plan, it doesn't take much to send a lot of that board red. But the key thing is that it's visual there for the guys, and they can all see it and they can respond to it. Absolutely. And the guys that can really make a difference to that, can respond to it rather than me sort of waving my arms around and staring at it. They can make a difference and get it back to where it needs to be. Whereas before they couldn't see it. Okay. They couldn't see that sort of where the situation was.
Yeah, I think a visual input is so much better. I mean, personally, you see a graph or you see a table is green, absolutely. I'm going to just make another tangent. I think I'm going to go the other direction. That beeping noise was because we're Bluetoothing Adam in via my phone, and the beeping noise was someone else calling. The reason they were calling is because we haven't actually mentioned the magazine yet. So that was Carl Creamer. So if you weren't aware, we do the MTD magazine. So just to keep Carl happy, we want to keep him happy at all times, don't we? So these guys on the shop floor, I'm a time-served engineer. I've been doing this job for 40 years. I don't need telling what to do. That's obviously not me, but Tom, what would you do if someone came along and told you you've got to use a new system?
Well, just before that, I just want to go back a little bit because you were talking about ISO 9001, which is obviously the
9100.
The aerospace qualification, and I've been through that, and it is an absolute nightmare. So, did you find it easier having PSL so everything's in one place? Because I know when we did it, you have to get forms from here, forms from there. Did it make it a lot easier for you to get or to keep it?
And we know Tom's got form.
Having everything in one place.
Oh, without doubt, it's literally everything is within it. It depends on what modules you've got. But everything in terms of traceability for us is there in Datatrack. The core of our quality management system, in terms of it functioning, making sure that people are interacting with it and not cutting corners is key. When you've got an integral piece of software like that to your quality management system, we use it for Task Manager. So that's another module that we use from Jeff. All our gauge calibration, monitoring, all our supply chain management, supply chain non-conformance, all of that, everything, internal, external works on conformance, it's all within there. We also also work with Jeff and the team to customise the reports. So making sure that they align to sort of how we want to visualise them for our AS9100, because sometimes we're just a little bit different, one company to the next. So, the customisation of the reports is perfect for us. But everything is in there for us. It's a perfect solution.
And I just want to ask as
Hold
well.
on, it's my turn to ask a question.
No, because I've got this in my head, so let me go down the road.
Blimey, that'll be the first. We better get this one done then.
Talking about gauges and stuff like that. Now, obviously, we've all been there. We've all had a job come through the door. We've started it and then realised we don't have the gauge to measure it. Now, has PSL saved you at any point where you've had a job come in and gone, well, we've put the quote through and we don't actually have this gauge, so we need to get this gauge in to do a job?
Yeah, we've sort of backed ourselves up a little bit on that one through internal processes of how a job comes through the system. We've been, again, plugging another module for you, Jeff, the contract review module. Yeah, we've been looking at that and working with Jeff along with other companies on developing that. So our internal process at the moment is, as soon as a job comes in, it goes through a manufacturing review and then an inspection review, even before it gets anywhere near the shop floor. And at that point, we're highlighting if we've got gauging, or if sometimes there might be a free issue gauge from a customer in our world, if it's a really bespoke gauge, that we need to, request it or purchase it. Or it might be that we can look at it and see that a gauge is due to go to calibration, and actually then understand the impact of that going out to calibration and whether it will be back in time. So, yeah, it's all the information's there.
Okay. Now, Jeff, I'm going to push over back to Jeff here, because it was 26 modules, and basic maths, you've added one, so you've got 27 modules now. And I'm sharp as a bowling ball, I know that. Contract review. So Adam's alluded to looking at it. What will that actually do for them?
Okay, so contract review, you've basically got two main sign-off points. You've got sign-off and approval at the quotation stage and sign-off and approval at the works order stage. So traditionally, if you don't have contract review embedded or integrated within a production control system, you'll have copious forms and so on, and you'll have paper-based tracking. Fair enough. So you've got the details there. But there's no because there's no integration, there's no evidence or if you like, there's no prevention of orders being released or quotes being released. Datatrack gives you that. So you define and you bespoke your own requirements, which can vary from customer to customer. It means that for a particular customer, the key points at that quote have to be approved before the quote can be sent out to a customer. And at the works order stage, it's the same. So you'll have the commercial sign-off. There may still be some technical sign-off points when the order comes in. And they have risk level control built in. So certain elements have to be signed off by authorised, could be technical members of staff, before that works order can be released. So it really brings it all together. And and actually makes the whole thing live.
So a great example you mentioned earlier is that nuclear industry might need specific gloves, for example.
Yeah, certainly one of our customers was explaining, to handle certain components, they must have a specific type of glove. And so that's all part of it. You customise that review to suit.
What about another thing I've got here is, I know I've said about how many modules and things like that. People might be listening to this thinking, well, Technoset have got all these modules, but I don't want all these modules. I'm a one-man, two-man machine shop. So it is essentially bespoke for each individual machine shop?
Well, it is the way to think of Datatrack. Think of it as, if you like, a menu of modules. You pick off the menu elements that you would like. So typically when we start with a smaller subcontractor, a typical system size will be quotations, and simply it would be then the sales and purchase order processing module. So once you've got the quote on the works order through to invoicing, obviously dealing with the purchase inside, you've still got the traceability through material stocks and goods received, but you don't necessarily need scheduling, shop floor data collection, non-conformance, gauge calibration and so on. So it really is a case of make sure the system is sized to suit, and it should never be, if you like, unwieldy or overwhelming. It should be sized to suit what you need, and as the business grows, expands, requirements change, then you can add to suit.
So Adam, moving back to yourself, in terms of on your shop floor now, so you've got a number of different stations, you've got status. What have you actually got on your shop floor, just so we can try and visualise it, and how's that all working?
Yeah, so we've got 6 production cells now, because for those that haven't seen any of the videos that you guys did in the past, we split sliding head sections. So we've got citizens, stars, and a couple of tours. So they're divided into two cells. We've got fixed head line as well. That's two, and then we've got 2 milling cells now. So each one has a status board. Each one has a station for them to go log all their information. But on that station as well, we've also introduced our digital measurement capturing system. So this was all part of our digitalisation project. So it's all Bluetooth micrometers and inspection kit for them to record. So this is moving away from paper-based sort of measurement recording. So that's all in place now, been in place for a year, works really well. And now we're expanding that. So we've taken that status boards and we're rolling that out into our second operations, which is DBUR. So they're getting a sort of digital work to list, quality, that's on a status board as well. And then Jeff's working now for us on some status boards for our dispatch section. So in our sort of final stage of everything going out the door, but it's not just what's got to go out to customer, it's what's got to go out to subcon for plating, for treatment, what's coming back from subcon. So the guys can see all of that. So those cells, are nicely embedded, and it was the production cells now. I've been in a year. And from that, then, everybody's got used to it. We can roll them out into different departments.
Right. So last time we visited, there was those big whiteboards. There, I think that they've been thrown out in the skip, have they?
Yeah. They've gone there. Well, that was the pilot. That was, using the information that was in Datatrack, but writing it down and using sort of green and red magnets. They've all gone. And now we're on to sort of digital stations, which is going back to what you're saying about people's perception of going, we've always done it this way, we've always done it that way. Got to say, to be honest, the team at Technoset really sort of embraced it. And if you speak to some of the old boys now on the shop floor that have been there years, they love it. They can see the information, they put it in regularly throughout the day. They know they've got a clock onto jobs. They understand it now. It takes a while, but they love it now, to be honest.
I think part of sort of embracing that new systems like that, it's easy to do. And I'm going to push back to you, Jeff. And how have you helped them keep it nice and simple?
Well, in terms of the way status boards go together, there's no single standard status board. Status board is a technology we have whereby we can then script to suit the customer's requirements. So I think, Adam, where this started, I think you sent it in an email detailing your ideas of what you like on a status board. Then we had a chat, a couple of Zoom calls. We were talking about, okay, well, here's some additional ideas. But then I believe you got the shop floor involved with their feedback as well. So they saw ownership in it. And I think that's so important because it's not just a case of one set of ideas, it's a collective set of ideas. We're just one piece of the puzzle. The customer getting really involved really helps as well. And then obviously we then develop the solution to fill in those details. And that can be refined as well through here's a draft, here's a refinement and so on. And that's what really then adds value. You get the status board giving you something back that really works.
So I'm getting from that, it's, you've got, it is off the shelf software, absolutely, 27 different products. Just reiterate that again. I think that, anyway, but every single machine shop who's got your product, they're all different.
Entirely, yeah. So obviously you've got the range of modules that can be sized to suit, but you've also got a huge number of configuration options, and we talk about a number of options, something like about 1,500, but they're not just yeses and nos, there can be 7 or 8
How
options.
do you know it's 1,500, Jeff?
It's a rough count, Colin.
and Tom mentioned it earlier before we started.
Thank you, Tom. So it's really about making sure that the system gets configured to suit what the customer needs, the size they are now, the requirements they have, and then as things change and develop, it's not just modules. Options, configuration options can be changed to change the functionality, to put extra rules in, and it's
okay. And this is it's very sort of personal in terms of liaising not only with the clients, your clients, but Technoset liaising with their clients and engaging with that and giving them the right information.
Well, certainly what's going to happen, the demands that come back to us will very often be customer-led. So obviously our customer will have come back with requirements that will then feed through that chain, if you like.
Okay. Tom, I'll put you, any questions to add?
I've got one for Adam, actually. I've got a question for Adam on how much easier is it made, has PSL made it for you to keep in contact with your customers, actually having the real-time data of the machine shop coming straight into the office? Because normally you would have to get up, you'd have to run around the whole shop, talk to everyone, right? So how much easier has it made you when customers ring up asking for delivery dates or so on and so forth? How much easier has it made it for you having that real-time data to your computer?
Massively. But we are looking to take that a little bit further as well. But, today, when we get open order book sort of update requests, that the information that's in the system that you just are looking at is live, or as live as it can be, maybe, half an hour or so on last time somebody put some information. Because we're not linked to the machines, this is down to the operator putting in, I've made 200 parts, I've finished production, so on. But it is as live as we can get. And you can go in and you trust that information at this point now, whereas, 4 years ago, it was really quite woolly, that information, and you have to go and still doing a little bit of digging around. Now we're absolutely spot on.
Brilliant.
And part of our driver behind this is, we've got quite an expansive customer base, and lots of them are on open order books, and you spend so many hours a week responding to them.
Absolutely.
and
so this is
figuring out that information. Yeah. So the next step that we're looking to try and do, and some say it's crazy. I think it's a bit brave, but I think it will drive us to be better, is to actually, we're looking to create a customer portal on the back of our website where ultimately the information around the status of a job will be accessible by our customers, so they'll be able to log in, see all their information, their open orders, where they are in production, if they've been made, what stage of production they're at.
Does Jeff know this yet?
We've talked about it. We've briefly mentioned it. This is the driver of where everything with the status boards and all the data collection is going to. That it might be a couple of years off, but you've got to get everything right. You've got to put the business into the right position to be able to do that. I talk about being crazy or brave. To be that transparent to your customers, but I think if we're good enough to put that information out there, and we can be brave enough to tell our customers where it is, then we hope that it will stand us apart from the rest and make us a good supplier.
Okay.
I think one of the key things there,
sorry.
Adam, you said about obviously you don't have machines wired up, and it's funny because sometimes when you look at monitoring a machine shop, you think, I'll go for machines. Yeah, okay, but machines are one of the elements. You can't wire up second op. You can't wire up quality. You can't wire people up. So you may monitor a machine, but not all the ancillaries. It's about monitoring the whole process, and that's what Technoset are doing really well.
Absolutely. Right, gentlemen, I'm going to... we could go on for ages here, but I think the dog's just given us a cue there that he wants to walk or something to that effect. You heard another lot of beeping because I think I've got to call Carl about his magazine and read to the accountant. I'm in trouble for something, spending too much money again.
Just before you start, I just want to ask one more question, because I think this is a modular I don't know much about, and I think it could help so many people. And I'm going to try and get this right first time, but it's the sequential scheduler module that you can actually schedule your engineers and your machines before the jobs even come in. So it's ready to go straight away.
Jeff, don't nudge it. We can't hear you when
I'm
you're
sure somebody's like me to cut it
well,
out.
actually, it was. I was seeing as Adam uses that. I just wanted to see how much benefit they've seen from that, because that must be such a huge thing that you never have a machine stopped, because you literally have jobs ready to go on. As soon as the machine stopped doing one batch work, your next batch is there, ready to go.
All good. Right,
yeah,
guys.
sorry.
No, you go, Adam.
Did you want me to? Yeah, I mean that is the core of how we manage our production, though. You know, that sequential scheduler, and it's like a puzzle that you're trying to solve every day and slotting things in. But I don't know how. Without that, I don't know how we'd schedule our machine shop. To be honest,
You're getting some big comments in there. You're going to get a discount from Jeff for all this.
yeah, it would be one hell of a task to. Yeah, I mean, lots of different options, and people use Excel and Project and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, we can schedule our setters, put them on holiday, do everything. Yeah, it's a really strong tool.
Guys, I'm going to sort of finish up there. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, and working with our technology. Take the dog for a walk. There's some key phrases we've had out of there. So, basic PSL, it does everything. It's core to the production. It's massively helped us, and we trust the information. There's a few the key phrases you've used, and that wasn't. We weren't we haven't primed you in advance of this. So, thank you very much for that. One final point from Tom. Anything else to add?
No, it's been great, Adam, and it's been great to have a insight into PSL from someone who's been using it for such a long time, and also gone forward with the modules. So it's been great to have that entire, for you to explain your entire. Oh, what's the
process?
Word? Yeah,
System?
that'll do. Process.
Okay, yeah. Jeff, any final comments from your good self?
Adam, thank you very much for joining us today. And let's face it, some of the projects we've been working on have been exciting to actually see come to fruition. So long may that continue.
Absolutely. Adam,
Yeah,
any
good.
final things before the dog goes for a walk?
No, thank you very much, guys. It's been really cool, and thanks for accommodating the difficulties we've had today. But no, it's good. And Jeff, plenty more projects lined up, so don't worry about that. We'll keep you busy.
Absolutely. And
I think Jeff's face was a picture there.
and I do need to thank the guys who don't get much mention because normally they're not very good. No, I'm joking, but the guys in the background who managed to get us all set up, Joff and Jake, the technical team, getting all this. There's cables everywhere, but it's all working. Well, fingers crossed it's worked smoothly. Guys, Jeff, Tom, Adam, thank you for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed this week's MTD podcast, and we hope to see you, if not hear you soon.
Thanks for listening to the MTD podcast. If you found value in this episode, please subscribe and leave a rating and review. Find more episodes on mtdcnc.com.